exhibition called the Venus exhibition, and it's an invitational exhibition for about 35 artists worldwide that work in the area of magic realism or fantasy realism. And so this is the first time really that an attempt has been made to bring together artists from all over the world in this particular area, genre of work. And we all have the subject of Venus. So I took the idea of Venus as a evolving feminine energy or consciousness. And I think in the Greek tradition, Plato saw Venus not as the goddess of beauty and the goddess of love in the sense of sensuality, but in the higher sense that Venus is a deity that is bringing harmony out of chaos. She was born out of the water, and water as chaos, the emotional level, into moving into a higher consciousness. The designs around it, you see the arrow-type shapes moving downward. Consciousness is not just a one-way thing. That as consciousness evolves out of chaos into harmony and to beauty, the divine consciousness comes down and gives us help. So there is this mixture of the two different types of harmonizing energy. The figure here on the right side I've used before, and it's a figure of, let's say, when there is a major cosmic event taking place, that you get that sense by moving actual cosmic elements. But she is feminine, so it's a feminine energy, and this is why it's such a wonderful thing to work with. I used this symbol, which is the golden serpent, which connects her to another part of the evolution of consciousness in our planet, and that is Eve. She is also connected to Gaia, which is sort of like Mother Nature, or the feminine energy of our planet. But the symbol of the serpent in the biblical tradition is a negative thing. The serpent is evil. But in most esoteric traditions, the serpent, especially the golden serpent, is a symbol of positive, evolving energy. And I believe that with Eve, that it was not a negative influence, but it was a positive one. So I used the symbol of the serpent to connect her to Eve and to our tradition as human beings. Yeah, and that's about it. Most of those symbols are my personal symbols that I am blending together to create this image. The one thing that I didn't mention is that she is closely associated with the three graces. And in most Renaissance paintings, the three graces are more like handmaidens. They run the bath for her or whatever. But in the esoteric traditions, the three graces are beings that are above the physical plane, and they helped her to descend into a physical body. Keep in mind, she is now a goddess, but she is living in a physical form on the earth. So the three graces were literally the stepping stones that enabled her to get down to the plane level, the physical plane, the material plane, where she could exist here on our planet and help our planet to evolve with feminine energy.
I think it's very exciting.
Yes, very excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I just wanted to show you one other thing while I'm doing this, is I do something called stone lithography, and that's a printing process. And when I say to most people that I do stone lithographs, the thing that they think about is like a big river stone, sort of this big round boulder, and you draw on it or something like that. And I try to explain that the stone is not that, but it's more like this. And this is a flat stone. It's quite heavy. It's about 20 pounds. And you draw on the flat surface, and from there you can etch it and eventually print it. This is very small, and I can pick it up. This is a stone lithograph. It came back from Paris because we shipped it there and the glass broke, and so it's slightly damaged, and so it's just sitting here in the studio. But this stone lithograph would have to be on a stone this much bigger all the way around, so that stone has to be moved by a hydraulic easel. Otherwise it's just so heavy that you can't possibly work with it. And I think the thing that is so interesting is that when people come and see this living thing, these 165 million year old Bavarian limestone, this beautiful flat surface, and you draw on it, but it never reacts the same way each time. When the weather changes, the surface changes.
Right.
So you always have to be like, oh, I thought I was drawing hard enough, it's too light, what do I do now?
Right.
And so from the very beginning you play a game between the stone and the work that you want to try to create.
Right.
So it's a wonderful technique,
Yes.
very laborious, and unfortunately dying out because not too many
That's a
people want to
shame.
learn how to do it.
Thank you.
Ah, you're welcome. Oh, one more thing I just want to show you, because this studio looks very small, and it is. So it means that I have to be very organized. I had a studio a few years ago that was a big apartment. It had 3 bedrooms, and I thought, okay, this room is going to be my sculpture projects, and this room is going to be my litho projects. It lasted about 6 months, and I got completely lost in all this space. So this works for me, and I've talked to many different artists. Some artists have to have a huge space to ramble around in. I find that I work very well because I have to keep myself organized. But the main reason that I'm here is because of this. Any morning when I'm feeling tired or
Where are we
stressed,
exactly?
difficult,
Location.
location-wise, we are on the southern Spanish coast.
Can you take us out?
Yeah, and unfortunately today,
It's not very clear.
you're not going to be able to see too much, but if over to the right-hand side you would see Gibraltar, and straight across and a little bit closer you would see North Africa. But today it's a bit overcast, so you're not going to see it. So when everything is going bad, when you get up in the morning and you have bright sunshine and you have the sea in front, I think it would be a shame if anybody couldn't feel better and get up and go to work.
Absolutely.
So this keeps me going.
Beautiful. Thank you.